Do you ever feel like your stomach turned into a balloon right after you ate? Like you're carrying around a food baby that's about to graduate college? Or maybe you're that person who has to strategically plan your elevator rides around when you might need to release some pressure. But get this, gas and bloating aren't just embarrassing. They're actually your body's early warning system. Welcome to Longevity Lifestyle, where we decode your body's secret messages and turn them into practical solutions that actually work. Today, I'll show you 5 hidden causes of gas and bloating, the simple fixes, and how those same fixes improve your sleep, your skin, and even your energy. All right, let's start with the basics. Your body is constantly having a conversation with you through what we call symptoms. The thing is, symptoms aren't something to suppress. They're the language your body speaks when it's asking for something specific. Gas and bloating? They're your digestive system's way of saying, hey, I can't digest what you just put in me. So what's actually happening when you feel like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man after lunch? Well, when your digestive system struggles to break down food, that food starts to ferment instead of getting digested, and fermentation creates gas. And when all that fermentation happens in your gut, well, that's when you start feeling like you need to be rolled down the street after your meal. The problem starts when your digestive fire becomes irregular and weak. Think of healthy digestion like a pot on a steady fire. The right amount of heat transforms your food completely, breaking it down into nourishment your body can use. But when that fire becomes irregular, sometimes too weak, sometimes flickering, sometimes going out entirely, food doesn't get properly cooked. Instead, it sits there and ferments, creating all that uncomfortable gas and bloating. Ancient healing systems like Ayurveda understand something that modern science is just now catching up to, which is that when your digestive system gets irregular and chaotic, it affects way more than just your stomach. It affects your sleep, your mood, your ability to think clearly, and even your skin. Now, here's where it gets interesting. These qualities of cold, airy, dry, rough, and irregular all go together. They even have a fancy name called Vata, and Vata is primarily made up of the elements of air and ether. When you have too much Vata energy, it starts affecting everything in these ways. You get constipated and your bowel movements become dry and hard to pass. You get excess air in your intestines, aka gas and bloating. Your skin gets dry, and even your mind becomes scattered and unfocused. But I'm getting ahead of myself. First, let me show you the common triggers, and then I'll reveal how they're all connected to something much bigger than just your digestive system. Trigger number 1, poor food combinations. Here's something that might surprise you. It's not just what you eat, it's how you combine foods that can turn your stomach into a gas factory. Ever notice how you feel fine after eating an apple by itself, but when you have fruit after a heavy meal, suddenly you look 5 months pregnant in 5 minutes? You see, different foods move through your system at different speeds and need different acidity levels to break down. For example, fruit clears out in about 30 minutes and needs only mild stomach acid, around pH 5 or 6. Protein, on the other hand, can take 3 to 4 hours and requires a highly acidic stomach, closer to pH 1.5 to 2.5. Carbs fall in between, working best around pH 4 or 5. Now, I don't know if you remember anything from chemistry class, but acids and bases cancel each other out. So when you mix foods that don't match up chemically, digestion slows, things start to ferment in your gut, and, well, that's when you start blaming the dog. Poor Fido. The fix? Keep your meals simple. Eat fruit by itself, at least 30 minutes before other foods or 2 to 3 hours after. As for the rest, pair proteins with greens or starches with greens, but never proteins and starches together. So instead of chicken and rice, it becomes chicken and steamed broccoli, or whatever your favorite green is. Here's the inside scoop. Greens are like the peacekeepers of digestion, low in starch and sugar, full of fiber, and flexible with pH. They don't demand the spotlight, so they pair well with proteins, carbs, or even most fruit without causing drama in your gut. Now, before we get on to the next culprit puffing you up like a puffer fish, drop me a comment and let me know if you already knew about food combining. Also, tell me your favorite green and how you prepare it. Okay, moving on. Culprit number 2, irregular meal times. Your digestive system thrives on routine. Think of it like a production line in a factory. Each worker has a job, and the line only runs smoothly when everything shows up on time. But if breakfast rolls in at 6 a.m. one day, 11 a.m. the next, then lunch never arrives, and then a giant dinner suddenly shows up at 9 p.m., the whole line turns into chaos. That's your gut on an unpredictable eating schedule. The fix? Eat at roughly the same times every day. Your digestive fire, what Ayurveda calls agni, is strongest at midday, so make lunch your biggest meal. Think of it like this. You want to eat like a prince at breakfast, a king at lunch, and a pauper at dinner. That way, your body will be able to focus on repairing while you're asleep like it's supposed to, instead of digesting food. Trigger number 3, cold, raw, and processed foods. Now, before you come for me in the comments, I'm not saying salads are evil. They're just not good for everyone. They're great for people who have strong digestion or who tend towards heartburn. But if gas and bloating are your issues, these things will only make it worse. Here's the thing. Your digestive system works best when it's warm and moist, kind of like a slow cooker. When you constantly feed it ice-cold smoothies, raw salads, and processed foods that have the life force of cardboard, you're essentially throwing ice water on your digestive fire. In plain English, your stomach, which is already having trouble, has to work even harder to warm everything up before it can even start breaking it down. That extra work slows things down, and what did we just learn about when food gets stuck in your gut? Yep, it creates gas, which means bloating and discomfort. The fix? Eat warm, moist, cooked foods, especially during fall and winter. Think soups, stews, steamed vegetables, warm grains. And if you're going to have something cold, have it at room temperature and during the warmest part of the day. Okay, this next one, everyone's definitely guilty of. Can you guess what it is? Culprit number 4, eating too fast or while distracted. Raise your hand if you've ever eaten an entire meal while watching Netflix or scrolling and then looked down and been like, wait, where did my food go? When you're distracted, your nervous system isn't focused on digestion. You're not chewing properly, which means you're not producing enough digestive enzymes before you swallow. Plus, you're probably also swallowing a bunch of air, the perfect recipe for bloating and gas. The fix? Put the phone down, turn off the TV, and actually taste your food. Chew each bite until it's an even, mushy consistency in your mouth. I know that sounds excessive, but digestion starts in your mouth with digestive enzymes in your saliva. Remember that assembly line? Your stomach is the next worker, so make sure the first worker completes their job. Okay, after everything you've learned so far about how the body works, can you take a guess as to the final trigger I'm going to name today? Last but not least, trigger number 5, stress and emotional eating. Did you get it right? Here's a connection most people miss. When you're stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed, your nervous system goes into fight or flight mode. And guess what gets put on the back burner? Digestion. The fix? We need to calm and ground the nervous system. Deep breathing before meals, gentle walks after eating, and creating consistent routines that your body can count on. Furthermore, never eat while you're upset. Are you starting to see connections you never noticed before? If so, hit that like button and subscribe for more videos that connect the dots between ancient wisdom and modern life. Trust me, what I'm about to reveal next is going to change how you think about your entire health regimen. Now here's where everything comes together. Remember how I mentioned that bloating and gas might be connected to your sleep problems, your scattered thoughts, and your dry skin? Ancient healing systems have understood for thousands of years that the same energy that creates digestive chaos also creates mental chaos. Racing thoughts, inability to focus, feeling scattered, it's all the same root cause. In Ayurveda, there's this concept called doshas, of which there are 3: Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. These energies are in all of nature, including your body. Today's topic is all about Vata, which you can think of as the energy of air and space. When Vata is balanced, everything flows smoothly. Your food digests easily, your thoughts are clear and focused, you sleep deeply, and your skin stays hydrated and supple. But when Vata gets aggravated, which just means you've taken in more than you can handle, then it becomes too cold, too dry, and too scattered, and it shows up in patterns throughout your body. And here's the fascinating part. These patterns always include digestive issues, plus seemingly unrelated symptoms. See the connection now? It's not that you have 5 different health problems, you have one imbalance showing up in 5 different ways. And here's what's really important to understand. If you ignore these early warning signs, Vata imbalance can progress into more serious issues. We're talking chronic anxiety disorders, insomnia, IBS, autoimmune conditions, and premature aging. But the good news? When you address the root imbalance, all the symptoms start to improve together. So if you're still with me, I want to give you some bonus tips to keep Vata at bay. Bonus tip 1, warming digestive spices. This is going to sound way too simple, but adding warming spices to your meals can be a game changer. We're talking ginger, turmeric, black pepper, even basil, oregano, and rosemary. These spices don't just add flavor, they kindle your digestive fire and help prevent gas formation. One of my favorite ways to get spices in is with tea. Try making a simple digestive tea of equal parts cumin, coriander, and fennel. Just drinking this tea every morning changes everything. Try it for 30 days and let me know how it goes. Now, this next tip may sound very luxurious, but it's one of the best things ever because its benefits are noticeable the first time you do it. Bonus tip number 2, massaging yourself with warm oil before your shower, what Ayurveda calls abhyanga. I know this might sound weird if you've never heard of it, but giving yourself a warm oil massage 20 minutes before your shower can calm your nervous system in ways that surprise most people. Use sesame oil, not the toasted kind. Warm it slightly and massage your whole body with slow circular motions. It's like giving your nervous system a warm hug, and your skin will never feel softer, smoother, or more supple. And the best part? You get to not be ashy and not be greasy all at the same time. Now, this last tip you might not think has anything to do with your digestion, but it totally does. Want to take a guess? Bonus tip number 3 is keeping a consistent sleep schedule. Remember how I said earlier that your digestive system thrives on routine? Well, guess what? Everything is connected. Your whole body craves routine, especially when Vata is out of balance. Going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, yes, even on weekends, helps regulate every system in your body, including digestion. Now, I know some of you are thinking, great, so I need to give up my iced coffee, my Netflix dinners, and my chaotic schedule? What's next? Are you going to tell me I can't stress eat ice cream at midnight? Look, I'm not here to turn you into a monk who only eats warm soup and meditates all day. Although, let's be honest, that monk is probably sleeping like a baby and never feeling bloated. But seriously, it's about progress, not perfection. Maybe start by having your coffee at room temperature instead of iced, or try eating 1 meal per day without distractions. Small changes create big shifts over time. Here's what I want you to do this week. Pick just one of these changes to implement. I'll put it up on the screen now so you can take a screenshot or write it down. Pick the one that feels the most doable for your life right now. Remember, we're not trying to overhaul everything overnight. that just creates more chaos, which is exactly what we're trying to calm down. At the end of the 7 days, take note of what changes you notice in your body. You can even keep a journal and write daily notes about it. Are you having flashbacks to science class yet? Now, if you stick with this one change long enough, it will eventually fit seamlessly into your life and you won't even have to think about it. When that happens, implement another one. Rinse and repeat. And then come back and leave us a comment about how it's going. Okay, so let's bring this all home. The beautiful thing about addressing root imbalances instead of just treating symptoms is that you start feeling better in multiple areas of your life at once. Better digestion, clearer thinking, better sleep, more balanced moods. It's all connected. Not to mention that these small changes also heal your liver instead of damage it. Your body is incredibly intelligent, and these symptoms aren't random annoyances. They're a sophisticated communication system. When you learn to listen and respond appropriately, you're not just fixing digestive issues, you're optimizing your entire quality of life. And because I don't expect you to remember all of this, I'm putting up a Vata balancing cheat sheet for you right now. Pause, screenshot, and you're all set. And if you want to keep exploring about how to work with your body instead of against it, check out this video right here. Remember, every step towards balance is a step towards a longer, healthier, happier life. Until next time.